Welcome back guys to the second tutorial in the C++ programming language, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about the overview of this C++ programming into the code blocks. Okay, as I've already told you, this is a projects list over here, and you can see this. We are currently working into the YouTube C++ programming project, and there's a source file over here which is named as main.cpp. You can change anytime you want. You just go over here and save as. That is very basic thing, very easy. For at this point we don't need to change, we just practicing into it. Okay, there is a lot of space over here. It doesn't mean anything into the C++. Okay, if I if I delete these spaces, it doesn't make a difference into the program. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this spaces. Okay, another thing I want to talk about, this is, as I have told you, this is main.cpp file, and this opens like this. Okay, what I want to say is this is where you write your program, C++ program. Okay, and your every program starts running with the main function, and this is the main function because it's named as main. Okay, and this parenthesis is a quality of a function. It just says that yes, this is a function. Okay, and the another thing is every program of a C++, right, have one main function exactly. Why it cannot have more than one or lesser than one is very easy to understand. As I said, every program begins at a main function, right? So when you create when you create no main function, then your program, when it compiler starts compiling a particular program, it says it has no main function and I don't know where to begin, so it flashes an error. So that's why you need at least one main function, right? Why cannot you create more than at most one main function is because if a program have two main function, right? So your compiler begins compiling and it says I have two main function, I don't know where to go, and again it starts flashing an error that I don't know what to do. So it has to be at least one main function and at most one main function, and that makes it exactly one main function that there has to be. So every program begins at a main function. Whatever you do into this main function in between these curly braces is known as the body of the function, and in this body we are just printing this hello world with the use of cout, which puts output to the compiler. Okay, so everything between this quotation mark, that is a hello world with an exclamation mark, gets printed to the console or the output screen. Endl is a basically ending the line, and you have to understand this between this cout and hello world. This is a cout or output operator which is needed to put this thing into the output. Okay, so this is put into the output screen this hello world, then put again this end of the line, and then this to end this statement there is a semicolon in the end. You can see that it also has a semicolon here, it also has a semicolon here. It means that it's ending a statement, so you have to use a semicolon, and we will talk about this syntaxes later. For example, you don't need to use a semicolon into a function. You can see it's nowhere after the function ends here, but there is no semicolon over here. So but you need, when you create a class over here, so you need a semicolon over here. So when do we need that semicolon? It will be cleared when we talk about syntaxes, but at this point you have to understand every statement ends with a semicolon. Okay, so this is the main functions beginning from here, and printing the word hello world and putting an end line into it. So how to run this program and how to see what your program is doing, just go over here. This is a build and run function, build and run button, sorry. If you click over here and you can see this, yeah, this pops up and it prints hello world into your screen. So this is what your program does, and that is it. This process returns 0 execution time. Press any key, you don't have to worry about this, just press any key and it will end this console output. Let me just put another statement over here, and I say this is a new world. Okay, you can see this. I'm putting output to the console as here and using this operator again, and into this quotations I have used this sentence that it says this is a new world. So let me just build and run this again. Now let me just explain this before building and running it. It goes over here, main function. Okay, goes over here, it says output this particular thing, that is hello world exclamation mark, and then put an end L, that is end the line. It means it will print hello world into the first line, then an enter, and then it will print this is a new world and full stop. So let me just build and run this and you will see it is exactly as it is, hello world exclamation mark. The end of the line is over here, so new line begins and it prints this is a new world. Okay, if I go over here and I if I print something else and I says hey you, okay, so there is no end L over here, so it will not end the line, but it will print this hey you in the same line as of this is a new world. Okay, so let me just build and run this and you can see this hello world exclamation mark, and then an end L comes over here. This is a new world, full stop, space, and hey you. That is it. So that is basically how our program works. To summary up this thing, you can see you have to create your program over here. Every program starts with a main function and every program has to have exactly one main function, and whatever happens between these two curly braces is what happens into your program. If you create anything over here and if that is not included into the main function, for example, if you create a function over here, you can do that. You can name any function that you want to create over here. If suppose you created that function and you don't call this function, right? So if you don't call this function into this main, then this function is useless. It doesn't do anything, it just sits there. So everything that is over here has to be done into the main, else it is a useless thing. Alright, so that is the basic of this overview. You have to build and run from here. If there is any error, it will show here. Okay, so this is a place where, for example, let me just show you an error. If I don't use this semicolon over here, right, so I know there has to be an error because this statement is not ended, but we have used another cout. So this has to flash an error. You can see this, it says you have an error in line 10. Actually the error is in line 9, not into 10, but you can see this, it says it doesn't expect a cout, it expects a semicolon into the line 10, but it expects something else which is not here, so it is flashing an error into the line 10. And you can see this it says an error over here, error expected semicolon before this cout. Before this cout you expect a semicolon which is due over here. We just do it and we just build and run this and our program works very fine. So that is all about this overview of working C++ into the code blocks. So thank you guys for watching, have a great day, and please watch the next tutorial. Okay, thank you guys.